All right, good afternoon. I'm Texas Storm Chaser's David Reimer. Let's get the scroll loaded. We've got a tornado warning for portions of McLennan, Bell, and Falls counties. Before we get started on the nitty gritty of what we're dealing with, let's talk about who is in this tornado warning and who is not. First off, Temple, Belton, Waco. Y'all are not in this tornado warning. Y'all don't need to be worrying about a tornado right now. This is going to be a small tornado warning that runs from Moody on Highway 317 to Lorena, Bruceville to just north of Troy on Interstate 35. This will include Lorena, Bruceville Eddy, north of Troy. And as we turn on the radar, you'll be able to see that we're dealing with a very messy thunderstorm here, a very high precipitation supercell. And this thunderstorm is trying to spin up a tornado here. Even if we do not have a tornado spin up here, which again is entirely plausible, this is not one of these situations where a tornado is guaranteed. We are having quite a bit of damaging straight line winds with this thunderstorm approaching Moody on Highway 317. Could have 60-mile-an-hour winds as a very wet rear flank downdraft swings around on the backside of this thunderstorm. It curves a little bit east towards Bruceville, Eddy, Troy, and Lorena on Interstate 35. Now, we have a plethora of thunderstorms ongoing right now. We've got storms out the wazoo. Some of these are going to be capable of producing quarter to golf ball size hail. Some of these thunderstorms across central Texas, the northern Edwards Plateau, the Hill Country, and south central Texas, if they get super duper rowdy, could end up producing baseball size hail this evening. Localized damaging wind gusts, 60 to 70 miles an hour, heavy rainfall that could cause flooding, and perhaps a tornado or two. Today's tornado risk is very low. It is not zero, but I do not expect many issues with tornadoes today. We're going to just have a lot of storms with hail, wind, heavy rainfall, and the occasional spin-up tornado, such as the one we're dealing with right now near Moody. So if you're in Moody, if you are in Bruceville, Eddy, if you are in Lorena, you need to be in a safe place. That's going to be the lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And again, this is going to be a situation where we could have a spin-up tornado occur in a very rain-wrapped circulation. Otherwise, we could have the potential for some damaging straight-line winds and flooding. If anything, this thing's probably dropping 2 to 4 inches of rain in the span of 30 to 45 minutes, so flooding is definitely going to be an issue with this. This storm, for what it's worth, is moving east at about 30 miles an hour. So we head back north. We've got a couple hailers east of the Metroplex. One such storm near Terrell. This is going to be behind the cold front, meaning I'm not really concerned about tornadoes with this, even though it has one of those super duper scary looking hook echoes, because this storm is located behind the cold front. This in all likelihood is not going to become a tornadic issue. Hail? Oh yeah, this thing's got hail. This thing could be dropping golf ball size hail as it slowly moves towards Kaufman, Post Oak, Bend City, Oak Ridge, and the south sides of Terrell. Again, this thing's only moving at about 15 miles an hour to the east-southeast right now. So we move northeast. We got some storms behind the cold front, meaning they're a hail risk, a heavy rain risk, not a tornado risk. Northeast of Commerce, up Highway 24 to Cooper, Tira, DePort, Bogota, Clarksville. But again, and those storms, for what it's worth, also moving to the east at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. Again, today we're going to be dealing with plenty of hail, plenty of wind, plenty of heavy rain, some flooding concerns, especially tonight. Those are going to ramp up. But in terms of tornadoes, the tornado threat is very low today. I don't think we're going to be dealing with too many tornado warnings today. But we're going to have to keep an eye on things. In terms of our current warnings, we have a single tornado warning for Moody, Bruceville, Eddy, Lorena, though I do believe any sort of circulation will stay well south of Lorena. As this thunderstorm moves east. at about 30 miles an hour. So the best way y'all can keep track of what's going on today is with the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. We've got two interactive weather radars. We've got the main radar that opens up when you open the app, but if you don't like that one, you can use our old one, which is under the /more button on the bottom right task menu. And the first button you can click there is Zoom Radar, and that'll give you our old radar. And that is a free mobile app on the under, well, Apple Android devices, Texas Storm Chasers. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers in your device's app store. Sorry, allergies are kicking my butt today. So again, we got plenty of storms. As I zoom out to the Texas statewide view, you can see we've got storms galore. And these storms, some of them are going to have hail, big hail, localized damaging winds, heavy rainfall that could cause some flooding, and a very low threat for a tornado. Again, today's not going to be a day where we're going to deal with too many tornado warnings. We're not going to have a day like we did yesterday across portions of central Oklahoma, where I had a... You want to talk about the storm chasing life. For those of you who don't know, I live on the south sides of Oklahoma City. I was out chasing yesterday. I was about 3 blocks south of my house watching a rapidly rotating wall cloud pass about half a mile to my south that tried to put a tornado down half a mile south of my house, and then eventually put a tornado down about 5 miles to my east-northeast here. But again, we're going to be dealing with plenty of storms with hail, wind, heavy rain, lightning, and the occasional threat of a brief spin-up tornado. And that's why we're here right now. We've got a tornado warning until, I believe that's at 5:15. We'll go ahead and zoom back into that. There's going to be a tornado warning until 5 p.m., At 4:45 p.m., a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Moody. This storm is moving east at 25 miles an hour. Locations in this warning include Bruceville Eddy near 4:50 p.m., Lorena near 4:55 p.m., Meadow Grove, and Mooreville. This will be a threat to Interstate 35 between mile markers 311 and 322. Again, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing golf ball size hail, damaging straight line winds, and can't rule out a spin-up tornado on the southern flank of this thunderstorm, where we've got some interactions going on with some showers being ingested from the south. So again, regardless, tornado damaging straight line winds, this thunderstorm from Moody to Bruceville Eddy to just pretty much Troy is going to be capable of causing some wind damage. For sure. But again, there's no clear-cut indications we have a tornado down right now. There's no debris signatures. And we've had intermittent tighter circulations with this thunderstorm. And that certainly is capable of producing a spin-up tornado. Especially getting closer and closer to Troy. This is sagging almost just south of that tornado warning. It's trying to spin up very near the north sides of Troy. So Troy, even though you're not technically in a tornado warning, it probably wouldn't be the best... It wouldn't be the worst idea for y'all to exercise your safety precautions You might have a spin-up trying to occur on the north sides of Troy over the next few minutes as this thunderstorm moves off to the east at about 30 miles an hour. And again, these are just, it almost looks like the beginnings of a complex of thunderstorms starting to develop from Waco down to Fort Hood, Killeen, west of Lampasas. You can see how we're starting to get a little line here, and that may be what's trying to occur. With this thunderstorm. And again, we've got thunderstorms out the wazoo this afternoon. We've got one storm just west of Uvalde, moving east towards town. That could have some pretty big hail with it. Ping pongs, golf ball size hail. And again, that'll be over Uvalde within the next probably 30 minutes. It's only moving east at 20 miles an hour, so it's not moving too quickly. But again, this storm could have golf ball to tennis ball size hail, and that could be a threat to Uvalde in the next 30 minutes. Severe storm moving near Kerrville. Just southeast of Kerrville, that's a left split, moving more north at about 25. That could have hail. We've got storms in portions of central Texas. One severe storm coming towards Lampasas. That could have quarter golf ball size hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. We've got a severe storm near Troy, capable of producing a tornado and heavy wind and hail. We've got, north of that, we've got heavy rainfall that could cause some flooding. In addition to hail, high winds in places like Waco, McGregor, Lorena, Moody. And then this tornado warning from roughly Troy up to Bruceville, Eddy, to just south of Lorena. And again, we've also got some hailers in portions of northeast Texas. Severe storm, Oak Ridge, that could have golf ball size hail. Post Oak, Bend City, golf ball size hail possible. Kaufman, you may have hail here in the next 20 minutes with this thunderstorm that's only moving at about 10 miles an hour. Main hail core staying south of Interstate 20. And then we've got some storms in northeast Texas. From Cooper, Tira up to DePort on 271 and Bogota, those could have quarter size hail. The potential for some strong winds. And again, we're going to have a lot of storms today. Most of these are going to be capable of some hail, some heavy rain, some wind. The overall tornado threat is not expected to be high today. In fact, it's on the low side. We're not going to have many tornado issues today, I don't believe. Lorena, thank you. Thank you, Tammy, for that report. Fort Worth, you're done. Dallas, you're done. Denton, well, at least you're done for now. You might have some storms. As we head over the next few days. But as you can see from this radar composite image, we're going to have plenty of showers and storms ongoing now. And then we're going to have plenty of storms tonight, tomorrow. Saturday will probably be quiet, then more storms Sunday. Monday may be quiet, then the potential for severe storms returns on Tuesday. So we're going to have a pretty busy pattern. But with this, we just got a lot of storms. As a cold front slowly moves south, hail, big hail with the strongest storms, damaging winds. with the strongest storms. Not all storms are going to have hail. Not all storms are going to have strong winds. The overall tornado threat is very low today, which means a couple spin-ups possible, but I don't expect widespread tornado issues. And then we could have the threat for heavy rain and flooding become a primary issue by tonight. No sound for David. Oh, I'm pretty sure I have sound. If I didn't have sound, I'd have about 400 people telling me no sound. So make sure y'all are unmuted. Alright, we've got a new tornado warning. This is going to be a tornado warning until 5:45 p.m. Pretty long duration warning, honestly. That's surprising. It's going to be for northeastern Bell County and western Falls County in central Texas. This is going to be for a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a spin-up tornado near Troy. Moving east at 20 miles an hour, so not a particularly fast mover. This tornado warning does include the communities of Marlin, Lott, Chilton, near or just north of Bell Falls, and this does include Troy. So again, this is going to be for a very high precipitation thunderstorm with some wonky storm interactions going on right now. This tornado warning does not include the city of Temple. Belton, this does not include Waco. This does not include Rizal. It does include Marlin, Lott, Chilton, Bell Falls, Troy, Bruceville, Eddy. And again, it's just going to be for a bit of a shear axis now. Right here. And again, this is not a classic supercell thunderstorm in the sense of where we have a very well-organized hook echo, reflectivity signature, a well-defined, super-duper scary couplet, as we call them, where we have bright green, bright red right up against each other. This is going to be a situation where we've got a lot of thunderstorms all merging and interacting with each other, and that has allowed this primary thunderstorm near Bruceville Eddy to occasionally show indications of tighter, more organized low-level rotation. And because of that, the Weather Service in Fort Worth has continued a tornado warning until 5:45 p.m. for northeastern Bells and portions of Falls counties in central Texas. Those of you in Lott, Bell Falls, Troy, Chilton, Marlin, Salem, you are in this tornado warning until 5:45 p.m. Unless something drastically changes, I don't think this is going to be a tornado warning we have to deal with until 5:45 p.m. So again, so we switch back over to the which way the wind's blowing mode. That low-level velocity couplet we've been seeing for a few minutes now pretty much is gone on the latest scan on the lowest levels of the radar. As we continue to have storm mergers occur, which I can show you here by switching to a different product, hitting the magical button of life. We'll just load this up. You can see we've got storm mergers galore ongoing right now around Troy, which is going to increase the threat for flash flooding, I might add. Satin, thank you. But again, hopefully, we'll be able to get rid of this thunderstorm, or excuse me, this tornado warning sooner rather than later, assuming this low level velocity couplet ends up deteriorating. Regardless of any sort of spinny mischief, this thunderstorm is a windbag. We've got plenty of winds, 50 to 60 miles an hour, indicated from near Moody back west to near Morgan's Point Resort. And we've got a plethora of severe thunderstorm warnings across the state. And again, remember, we're going to focus on the most intense, dangerous storms. And we're here because there is a tornado warning for northeastern Bells and Falls counties in central Texas. I don't think we're going to see a lot of tornado warnings today, or many tornado warnings, but we are going to have a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings. Taking a look here, example, supercell north of Kaufman, southeast of Terrell, could produce golf ball to tennis ball size hail. The potential for a pretty good amount of wind, and again, tennis ball size hail. Sue, I wouldn't recommend that right now. I mean, you can just keep an eye on the radar and don't drive into heavy storms, but you're at least good for a while. And again, we've got some more storms developing back over the Metroplex now, and that could be a thing through the evening hours. We could still have hail. Most of these storms are not going to be tornadic. In fact, a vast majority of these are not going to be tornadic as a cold front continues to move south. But hail, out of the strongest storms, you bet. Wind, yes. And we could start seeing an increasing threat for heavy rain and flooding this evening and tonight as these thunderstorms keep moving over the same areas across portions of central Texas and the Brazos Valley. And again, in terms of the severe weather outlook for today and tonight, this is the severe weather outlook for, well, the remainder of today into tonight. You can see we're going to have storms most of the evening, and they're going to make their way down into portions of the Middle Texas coast, the coastal plains, Southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle, etc. So there's going to be plenty of storms. Heading back over to the which way the wind's blowing mode, we are starting to see a bit more of a concise low-level circulation just southeast of Bruceville Eddy now with this thunderstorm. A very rain-wrapped area, but we are seeing a bit more concise low-level rotation. Again, we've got cell mergers out the wazoo. Ongoing. We've got a pretty good hail core near Bruceville Eddy. And this storm, for the most part, is generally moving east at about 20 miles an hour. Let's get this monitor a little set up real quick. I'm going to knock stuff off my desk, but that's okay. Again, that's where we have the strongest issue with low-level rotation right now, the potential for a spin-up tornado. And again, we're talking about this one storm because it's the only tornadic storm. I know we've got hail galore. And that's a good reason for you to have the Free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app, so you can keep an eye on the sky in your neck of the woods. Low-level velocity a little looser there, which is good. The storm is still clearly trying to spin up at times. That will continue to be an issue. Just like the paper towel roll that's now unraveled on my floor. So again, I'm hoping we're not... I really don't think we're going to be dealing with too many tornado warnings tonight. But again, we're going to have plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings. We're going to have plenty of... probably some flash flood warnings here a bit later. But let's go ahead. Let's take a gander at the high-resolution rapid refresh model. That'll let us see what we're expecting for the remainder of today and tonight. I just had to press some buttons here. Alright, so that's not the button I wanted to press, excuse me. Let's see how the model's doing right now. So 5 o'clock you can see, I mean, it's not doing the greatest, but here's 8 o'clock, you can see we're going to still have plenty of storms ongoing. 10 o'clock, cluster of storms, Brazos Valley, portions of southeast Texas, back into the hill country, generally moving southeast. Here's midnight. You got storms, south central Texas, Brazos Valley moving into the piney woods of East Texas. Yeah, that's what happens when I move a monitor, sorry. And then here is 2 a.m. You could see cluster of storms, heavy rain, maybe some pocket change size hail, strong winds moving into the Victoria Crossroads, Middle Texas coast, the coastal plain, southeast Texas, Houston Metro, piney woods of East Texas, the Golden Triangle. And then by 4 a.m., storms starting to move off the upper Texas coast. By 6 a.m., long gone, quiet, sleep. Well, at least for me. But I'm on a night schedule, so. And then here's 8 a.m. tomorrow. So again, we're going to be busy most of the night with some storms, hail, wind, heavy rain. The overall tornado threat's going to be very, very low. The potential for heavy rain and flooding. As we head back north, for what it's worth, yeah, we've got hailers. Example, this storm near Kaufman, tennis ball size hail. Reported in the last 10 minutes. And again, that storm slowly moving east-southeast at about 20 miles an hour. Yes, it's safe to drive from the Metroplex to Oklahoma. So again, at this point, we have a single tornado warning. And at the moment, at least, the circulation in the low levels is not organized. A lot of hail, a lot of wind, heavy rain. I mean, we're going to have storms all evening into tomorrow morning. We're going to have a plethora of severe thunderstorm warnings. We're going to have flash flood warnings. We're going to have hail. We're going to have wind. We're going to have flooding. Not all storms are going to produce hail. Not all storms that produce hail are going to have baseball-sized hail. Not all storms that have wind are going to produce damaging winds, and a vast majority of these storms are not going to be producing tornadoes. The overall tornado threat is very, very low. I am on the Discord now. I'll keep an eye out. So again, we could have hail, wind with the strongest storms. The only tornado warning we're dealing with right now is this thunderstorm near Troy. And at this point, the shear axis looks like it's right down here. But at this point, I don't see any sort of indications we have a strong low-level circulation, so at least for the moment, I don't think we have a tornado, but does that mean one couldn't spin up real quick on the shear axis? No, something could spin up pretty quickly, but at this point, I don't see indications of that. We've got a pretty good surge of wind moving into the city of Temple right now from the northwest. We could have 60 to 65 mile-an-hour winds, in addition to the potential for quarter to golf ball size hail. This is going to be moving southeast at about 25 miles an hour. But I'm hopeful we can get rid of this tornado warning sooner rather than later. I'm hopeful, at least. But again, we're going to have a lot of hail. Zooming back out to the state. Here's just a look over the last couple hours. Oops, excuse me, sorry. I'll stop moving it around so much. You could see portions of the northern Edwards Plateau, central Texas, the Hill Country, northeast Texas. We've got storms generally moving east at about 20 miles an hour, but some storms are moving southeast. A couple are moving northeast, and storm speeds vary from 15 miles an hour up to 30 miles an hour. This is going to be a great situation for y'all to have the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. It's a new app. We've recently released version 2. That's going to be moving, excuse me. I hope that noise canceling's working, because if not, the mallet's about to come out and attack the people talking loudly in the other room. But we have essentially these storms mostly going to be moving east 15 to 30 miles an hour. Some are going to move southeast. Some are going to be moving more northeast. Strongest storms could have hail, quarter to tennis ball size, localized wind gusts of 50 to 70 miles an hour, and the potential for heavy rainfall and flooding in spots. Again, that flooding threat's going to become a bigger issue tonight, I think. Tornado threat is very low. I don't expect many tornado warnings this evening. And I don't think we're going to be dealing with too many tornadoes. We've got a pretty good surge of wind moving into high. I'll give them. Y'all hold on a sec. We'll be right back. I'm going to take care of this. All right, apologies. Back, all is well. I'll head back over to the super duper awesome blossom. I can make up idioms too. Weather radar. Got a flash flood warning now for Copper's Cove, Fort Hood, Killeen, all the way east on Interstate 14 to Belton. Flash flood warning for Temple, Troy, Moody, McGregor, Waco, Lorena, Hewitt. So again, I was talking about the flash flooding part and the threat for flooding. But in terms of tornado issues, I mean, we've got strong winds in Troy and Temple, 50, 60 mile an hour winds. I mean, if there was any sort of circulation in the low levels right now, I guess it would be along the shear axis west of Lot, but frankly, just not seeing that right now. So hopefully we can get rid of this tornado warning soon. Unless, hopefully, 10 minutes or something, unless this storm shows indications of tightening back up and organizing. Got a pretty good hail core over Uvalde right now. Could have quarter to golf ball size hail. And those of you asking where the cold front is, yeah, we can do that real quick. Easiest way to do that will probably be to pop up surface temperatures. In fact, I'm going to restart this program real quick. It's being a bit angry. Cold front at this point, and you may not see much of a difference in temperatures, but we'll use surface winds. Essentially going to be where this line of storms is located. So probably Brady, Temple, up towards Terrell to Clarksville. And again, The difference here is just north winds behind the front. We still have a few showers and storms behind the front. Those could still have some hail, small hail at least, and some stronger winds. But we're here because we've got a tornado warning. You see that little appendage near lot, and this tornado warning continues until 5:45 p.m. And at 5:18 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a brief tornado was located near Lot, moving east at 25 miles an hour. So this warning polygon has been chiseled down a bit now. If you're in Lot, Chilton, and Marlin, you're still on this tornado warning. Anyone else? No. And this is the only tornado warning in the state of Texas. At this point, very heavy rain, hail, and winds, damaging winds perhaps, moving into Temple from this severe thunderstorm that's moving east-southeast. And if we had any sort of spinning mischief, it would be very near Lot right now, maybe a couple miles west. Generally moving towards Lot at about 25 miles an hour. I do not anticipate these to be long-lived circulations. You know, it's not like yesterday in Oklahoma. We don't have a favorable environment for low-level rotation, low-level longevity in terms of tornadic circulations. These are mainly going to be more mesoscale incidents, storm mergers, some boundaries colliding, etc., versus the overall environment being overly supportive of tornado genesis. So I don't think we're going to be dealing with too many tornado warnings. I don't think we're going to be dealing with a lot of spinny doom mischief here. What I do know is I need to adjust this webcam a bit. There we go. But looks like the rotation's tightening up again. So, you know what? I was being grumpy a few minutes ago, hinting this tornado warning could go away soon. But you know what? Kudos to the Weather Service. They were patient. And here we go. The circulation's trying to tighten up again just west of Lot. So we could see the potential for a spin-up tornado approaching Highway 320, essentially moving right towards Lot. No tornadoes in Waco. So again, watching a little area of circulation about 2 to 3 miles west of Lot. moving east about 20 to 25 miles an hour. You can see the latest velocity scan there. Now, these are not strong circulations in the aspects of, big tornadoes, long-lived tornadoes, etc. These are spin-up situations. You can see the latest radar scan just came in. And yeah, I definitely, you know what? Kudos to the Weather Service in Fort Worth. They are more patient than I was with this. And yeah, this thing is attempting to produce a spin-up tornado east of Interstate 35, about 2 miles west of Lott, which is why a tornado warning continues until 5:45 p.m. for Chilton, Lott, and Marlin. We'll head back north. In fact, I'll just press this super button. And here's a look at the radar over the last couple of hours across northeast Texas. Nasty storm near Kaufman with some golf ball size hail. Storms southwest of Clarksville now could have some quarter size hail, 50 to 60 mile an hour winds, generally moving towards Avery, Mount Pleasant, DeKalb, and Naples over the next 30 to 45 minutes. Farther to the south, west, a couple storms firing back up over the Metroplex, maybe some brief heavy rain and small hail. Then otherwise, we've got multiple thunderstorms capable of producing quarter to golf ball size hail, heavy rainfall, flash flooding from Copperas Cove, Fort Hood, Killeen, all the way east to Belton, Temple, Waco, where we have a flash flood warning now in effect. And then we've got a severe storm southwest of Brady. And for the most part, most of these storms are going to be moving east, northeast at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. Some storms are going to move a little further to the southeast. And then as we continue into this evening, we're going to see a little cluster of thunderstorms develop here in the hill country that are going to push all the way southeast towards the coast and to the coast and off the coast. Probably from San Antonio to Victoria, all the way through Houston, the Golden Triangle, Beaumont, and the piney woods of East Texas later tonight, with some of those storms capable of producing quarter to ping pong ball size hail, winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour, heavy rainfall, and flooding. And yes, I did mute while I took some bites of that. No one needs to hear me chewing on food. So again, this is going to be the main story. Hail, wind, heavy rain, flooding, and then the occasional tornado warning. This tornado warning technically goes for another 15 minutes for this storm near Lot. And yeah, this is still trying to... Still does have a circulation about 2 miles west of Lot. It is not a super strong circulation, but it could put down a brief weak tornado at some point. And any tornado is definitely going to be a bad tornado if it comes down your street, takes off part of your roof. Pretty good surge of wind right now in Chilton. This is Chilton right there. Seeing a pretty good surge of wind in Chilton. Winds of about 60 miles an hour being detected there. So again, the strongest storms today, with severe thunderstorm warnings, could have quarter to tennis ball size hail, winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour, a very low threat of a spin-up tornado, and we're also dealing with flash flood warnings outlined here in this blue box. It's a flash flood warning. Waco all the way down I-35 through Hewitt, Troy, Temple, west on Interstate 14 through Harker Heights, Killeen, Fort Hood to Copperas Cove. That simply means don't drive your car into floodwaters, please. All right. Take a look at what we expect for the remainder of the day into tonight. And to do that, we're going to take a look at the high resolution rapid refresh model. Now this is 6 o'clock. Now understand, what you can see here at 6 o'clock, obviously that's not what we have going on right now in all areas. So understand, this is not a perfect model, but at least I can try and give you a timeline. Here is 8 p.m., what this model believes is going to transpire. Scattered showers and storms still underway in the Metroplex. We've got scattered severe storms, northeast Texas, back into the northern Brazos Valley, central Texas, Hill Country, northern Edwards Plateau. Here's 10 o'clock, so most of these storms are going to start moving southeast, especially further south. Line of storms approaching San Antonio, Austin, Bryan College Station, Piney Woods of East Texas. Midnight, San Antonio Metro, Brazos Valley, north sides of the Houston Metro, Conroe, Piney Woods of East Texas. So places like Dibble, Woodville, Jasper. Here is 2 a.m. Friday. Line of storms, some with hail, gusty winds, heavy rainfall. Victoria, Houston, north of Beaumont. 4 a.m. Storms starting to move off the upper and middle Texas coasts. Bay City, Galveston to Beaumont. 6 a.m. All is well with the world, and we're done. But back to what we're dealing with right now. It's going to be a severe thunderstorm with 60 to 70 mile an hour winds and maybe a brief weak spin up tornado near lot. Again, this isn't looking as impressive again in the spinny department, but it's showing a pretty good surge of wind. 60 to 70 miles an hour right over Chilton, Texas, in Falls County. This tornado warning goes through 5:45 p.m. as that magical scroll on the bottom side of our screen dictates. The overall tornado threat for today, tonight, remains very, very low. Again, little meteorological nerdness. You could see this little green line right here. This is an outflow boundary. This is just winds pushing out ahead of the storms, which greatly reduces the potential for tornadoes. Just because it cuts off the lowest, about 1,000, 2,000 feet of warm inflow from the surface, thus making it much, much more difficult to generate a surface-based circulation, aka a spinny, spinny, doom, doom. Turned off the magical noise from the computer. Got it. Yeah, I can fix that. Thank you. See, this is the same program I use to produce the Texas Weather Roundups in the morning. And I have a button on that lets the scene switcher sound play. But that button also allows other sounds, like weather notifications, to play. So, thank you for mentioning that. I have muted it. But again, I am hopeful we're going to be done with this tornado warning before too much longer. And with all that being said, now that we've gone over the timeline for today and tonight, the overall threat for very low tornadoes, or very low threat for spin-up tornadoes, best place, keep an eye on the sky, is our free interactive weather radar. You can do it two ways. One, right on our website if you want to do it in your browser, texasstormchasers.com/radar. Two, better way, is if you want to use our new version 2, which is still free, mobile app, Texas Storm Chasers. You can search for Texas Storm Chasers in your device's app store, or I'll put the link in the chat. You can download the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app and I'll post this web link in the chat, and that'll just take you directly to the download page for the app. And that is a great way to get your local weather forecast, which is new for version 2. Plus the interactive weather radar. There's 2 interactive weather radars, actually. The one you get when you open the app, if you like that, great. If you want our old one, click on the ... button on the bottom right part of that bottom tab menu. First thing that should come up there is an option is Zoom Radar. You can click that, and that'll take you to the old radar. And you've also got other features like being able to watch our live coverage in the app, our latest weather videos, weather articles, etc. So that's a good way to keep an eye on storms in your neck of the woods tonight, to see if you're going to be impacted. But given the overall very low threat of tornadoes this evening, and I don't think, at least right now, that we're... Ooh, what is this? What is this? No, no, no. Ooh, spinny, spinny mischief. Look at this. Well, slap me silly and say, hi-ho, cheerio. Let's take a look at this before... And here, I was about to get to go eat dinner, but no, no, no. Let's take a look and see what this is. That might just be an artifact of the velocity data, but what is this west of Rosebud? Is that an artifact of the velocity data, or do we have a little spin up here? That's an interesting question. And we'll get that answer when the radar, we get our next radar beam scan coming back in. But again, we could have a few brief weak spin up tornadoes this evening, but I do not expect anything like we had in Oklahoma yesterday. This is not going to be a situation where we're dealing with a lot of tornadoes, many tornado warnings, etc. But we are going to have plenty of storms with heavy rain. Some of these storms are going to have hail. Some of these storms are going to have high winds and flooding. All right, plan is, since this tornado warning for Falls County is going away here in a few minutes and it's probably not going to be reissued, what we're going to do is we're going to terminate live coverage for now. Best way you can keep an eye on things is joining us in the Discord chat, and by downloading the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. Do it two ways. You can type our app name in your device's app store and just download it that way, or you can type this link into your web browser. texasweather.app. So instead of, like .com, you would type .app, and that'll take you right to the app download page for your specific device. And again, if we have any new tornado warnings, we'll come back and do some more live coverage, but this is not going to be a night where we're going to need to do live coverage for hours on end, I don't believe. Again, these are not going to be tornadic storms for a vast majority of the time. We got some hail, we got some heavy rain, we got some flooding, we got some wind. We need the rain, we don't need the hail, we don't need the wind because the allergies are bad enough. But again, we'll be here, we'll be keeping an eye on it. And you can do the same in our free interactive weather radar. How about this? Our free I need dinner. Our free mobile app. All right, I really am gonna go find dinner now and hopefully some coffee. But we shall keep an eye on the sky, and y'all can do the same in our mobile app and on our website at TexasStormChasers.com. Thank you for all the Facebook stars, the super chats, etc. We appreciate them, and we'll be talking with y'all again soon, probably. Y'all have a good evening. God bless.